Hi everyone, Matthew here with Forex Nation, and I'm going to go over a quick analysis of what's gone on over the last 24 hours and what to expect according to my analysis. So, looking at the euro dollar, we had a great rally that I predicted in my last video happened last night, and I want to look at that real quick. So, in last night's video, price action was right around this area. And I stated some reasons for why I thought there would be a rally. And the rally did come true, but not until it first faked us out here, where I got into a trade on the crossover as it happened. And I got in right here and was stopped out shortly after that. So I patiently waited for price action to do what it had to do. I didn't think there was a whole lot of selling pressure on the euro, but apparently there was. It accomplished a pretty good low down to 33.80 or 85 or so before finally rallying back up. When this crossover happened here, it also coincided with sort of a weak trend line break. I had a trend line set up right here just to kind of see when price action perhaps was going back to the top side, because that's what I was thinking it might do, although I was prepared for either case. When I saw this rally happen, and I have my trend line in here, you can see price action quickly met resistance at that trend line and bounced back down, and then it broke it here on this candle here. Let me zoom in because I'm having a hard time seeing it myself. So what I was saying was price action met the lowest low that it's had for the week, comes back up here, meets resistance, comes back down, then it wavers on what it's going to do. Finally it makes a move, a decisive move up. We have the crossover on the moving averages happen here. I actually waited to see if this top that had been formed from the fake out from earlier would be broken, and that top met at the 34 level. And when that happened right here on this candlestick, when that top was broken and it closed above it, this is where I got in. And I had a great rally. This thing, eventually all the way up went 114 pips. I got taken out right here with a good like 80 pips profit when this, with the way that I lock in my profits is I follow this red line as resistance. So I each time there's a little retracement, like here there's a little retracement, I'll move my stop loss to right below there. And then the next time that there's a little retracement, which you see happen here, I'll move my stop loss right below there. Each time locking in profit. See a little retracement here, but each time it's obeying the red line. Eventually it's not going to obey the red line anymore as it did here, and I got stopped out. But that allowed me to leave the door open. By not setting a take profit, I left the door open and got all these pips. And I was really happy with that move. Looking ahead, I think we're still going to see a rally as it stands right now. As you can see, the red moving average has crossed underneath the blue, which does signal momentum has gone down, but I don't think momentum has actually gone down. You have to also consider the fact of where it's been. This was a very strong rally. I mean, very strong, hour after hour of bullish candlesticks. So expectedly, we're going to see a little bit of a sell-off as profit taking occurs, and we're going to see this thing come back down to the red moving average on the hourly. I think that's all we've seen so far. We're probably going to see a rally back up. One other thing I want to show you for what I'm looking at for the rally back up, using Fibonacci here. If we go to the most recent low, go up to the most recent high with our Fibonacci extension, we see what happened last night. It met up and consolidated right on the 50, and that's a powerful level of support or resistance depending on what type of trend you're in. This being an uptrend, this was support. And it did fake us out by breaking below the 50 just for a little bit, but then continuing back up sharply. So I just consider that sort of an oddball. Not sure why that happened in price action, because the 50 did get obeyed pretty well prior to that. And according to Fibonacci rules, which I go over in the lesson on my website, since this met support at the 50, we can expect it to continue all the way up somewhere between the 118 and the 127 level, which just so happens to be right around the weekly R1. So I think that would be definitely the area to take your profits and not expect any more of a rally. The R1 here for the week is at 35.94.95. And the 3600 level is a real psychological barrier right now for the euro dollar. I wouldn't expect anything to happen above 3600, just like last week where we had a rally and we couldn't see price action go very high during this rally above the 3800. Well, now I'd say above the 3500. We're back to that same situation where anything above the 3500s, meaning 3550 or above, is going to start to be psychologically a really dangerous level for price action to be at, because the euro is still, in my opinion, it's still overvalued at its current value. It certainly shouldn't be as high as it is, but there's fundamental forces and technical forces kind of driving it up right now, and that happens in the forex market. That's why you have to pay attention to both. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is how I'm setting this thing up. So for the future, I'm not looking to get in another trade until I see one of two things happen. You can see this trend line I have going on here. This is the current downtrend that we've been seeing from 2 weeks back, okay? And I have that trend line here. So I consider that a decent trend line. It's a strong trend line. This is the uptrend line for the recent upward trend that we've been seeing also. So what I would say to, or what I'm going to definitely decide upon entering my next trade over is, if I see this line of resistance, which I have drawn in here, and trend line broken, then I'm definitely going to expect to see price action continue to carry on up to the weekly R1. If on the other hand, and I doubt this will be the case, if we get up here, when we meet resistance and price action starts to fall again, I would trade a crossover on my hourly. But if that doesn't happen and I see this lower trend line broken, I would definitely place a sell order, because that's going to be a sell-off indication that the current uptrend has ended. I'm focusing on either one of those two things happening. I'm expecting to see this trend line here broken overnight during the European session. All right, hope that helped. Thanks for watching.